guys, my name is Ali Games, and welcome back to Let's Play The Letter. Where we last left off, we are now in Hana's story. We just started it, and Hana has officially met Zach. There's some interesting things happening. Zach came to take pictures of the house, or the mansion for the magazine he's working for. They both encountered the ghost creature. We saw them first buy the house in this journal entry right here. It showed them doing the open house with them, what happened after Isabella left, and Hana saw the woman in a painting. The painting turned out to be a mirror. And then when Zachary was taking pictures of Hana and just the house in general, he was going to take a picture of Hana on the staircase. He saw the woman behind her grabbing her throat and was like pressing against her back. And Hana could feel it, like she could feel something on her, you know, I'll put my phone down here in case it goes off. She could feel tightness on her throat and pressure on her back. It's probably the ghost. But anyways, this is what the journal says for this. Hana met Zachary Steele, a freelance photographer from Luxury Living, an interior design magazine. Zachary was tasked to interview Hana and take pictures of the mansion and its new owners. What should have been a professional meeting ended up being friendly and perhaps too personal, because Hana went on a flirting spree with him, and oh, it's not gonna be good. I was looking at some of the achievements, and two of them made me laugh so hard, and they deal with Hana. One of them is called Slutty Hana, which I'm interested to see what that is. And the other one is, I don't know what the face is called. I'll put a picture of it, but it said, "Get a taste of Hana's pie." And I'm like, oh no. But there's some weird love triangles kind of going on. Like I said in the last episode, the one seems to be between Ashton and Bella and Isabella, where Ashton and Bella, or Becca, Isabella, and Ashton. Isabella and Ash are just friends, like they're close friends, but that's all they are. But Becca seems to be really liking Ash, and she's jealous of the relationship Isabella and Ash have. And then there seems to be one growing between Hana, Luke, and Zach, where Luke and Hana are married. Excuse me, but Hana seems to be taking a liking towards Zach, and I don't know if Zach will feel the same way. Holy shit! This is gonna be interesting. But anyways, they're in the middle of moving, and it's time for supper. Zachary's gone, so it's just Hana, Luke, and Johannes, and I don't know who else. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. It is dark. For a moment, I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that is clearly not the case, as every other room is bright with artificial light. Finding the light switch is a monumental task, considering the size and my unfamiliarity with the room. To make matters worse, the darkness creates the room a different atmosphere, eerie and frightening. It takes longer than I thought to find the switch, something that will have to be rectified later on. My skin starts to prickle, and there is the distinct feeling of being watched. It unsettles me, and only spurs me on in my search. And when I do open the lights, there's a hiss.
I'll turn the lights down, woman!
You're drunk. There, at the end of the hall, is my beloved husband with his face in one hand and a glass in the other. Perhaps I can let it go if it's only one glass of wine. However, I can feel myself go livid after seeing the toxic green liquid grin mockingly at me.
Luke, what? Are you drinking absinthe?
Damn!
You know what the doctor said. Absinthe, Luke. Are you actively trying to kill yourself? Because if you are, we can just hit you with a bloody car.
Honeybee, Buttercup, not too loud, please. Besides, it's Lelouch, not too strong. Just hair of the dog that bit me.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like
Helps with the hangover,
bad.
dearest.
You drank? When?
This morning, love. Don't be mad. I just needed a few drinks, having to deal with those simpletons. And maybe I had one too much.
No,
You don't see me whinging about you leaving me to handle them on my own.
I had to attend the photo shoot and interview with Luxury Living. You know that. Let's not make this about me, Luke. This is about you and your drinking problem and...
Oh, I don't know, Hana, darling. What if my drinking problem, as you like to call it, is linked to you?
Oh,
If we think about it that way, this discussion is about you.
okay.
That was pretty mean of you, leaving me alone to do all the work like that. You can't use the interview as an excuse either, honey.
I didn't
I
see
was
you
informed the
stepping
moment
up
your
in
little
place.
interview was done.
Like, why did you go to do the interview instead?
So, what was it then, What were you doing?
What's it gonna be? Should I tell the truth or tell a little lie? Oh, God. You know, I was with Zachary because Zachary is a nice man. Not like you dick.
I was talking with Zachary,
It went
the
down.
photographer for Luxury Living.
I have no reason to tell lies. It's not like I'm guilty of anything. But as Luke's expression turns, he makes me feel like I'm actually to blame for something. He has a way of making me laid bare with just a look. And that had really struck me when we first met years ago.
That giant Negro? You were having a secret meeting behind my back and it was
Are
with
you
him?
racist, dude? Like,
What are you implying?
I'm implying nothing. I'm just worried. You know better than to trust
he's
those
a
media types,
photographer.
Buttercup.
Holy shit.
He must have been really friendly to occupy your time like that.
Yes, he
All he's
was.
looking for is his next big headline.
He's a photographer. He's not an actual journalist.
He's a photographer for an interior design magazine.
Doesn't matter. You let one little thing slip, one wrong move, and it'll blow up in the telly in the morning. He'll go to his journalist friends to gossip and make a quick quid.
His eyes were the first thing I noticed about him. They were like nature, the grass and the trees, wonderful and breathtaking. Now as I look at him, they're nothing but the same shade of green as the bloody damn drink in his
He was a
hand.
perfect gentleman, Luke. I can't say the same for you as of recent.
Excuse me again? We're talking about you, Hana.
No, I am pretty sure we were talking about you and your drinking problem, Luke, right?
Hangover forgotten during the course of this little spat, the man jumps to his feet and seethes. It looks like he's barely stopping himself from throwing the nearest thing
Oh,
he can
it
find.
is not a problem. I can stop whenever I want.
No, you can't.
And even if it was, I think you can very well stay out of it, as it only affects my own kidneys or liver or whatever the bloody hell that shite pollutes. Whatever aftermath that occurs
Your
because of your
liver?
little chit-chat with the Negro affects the both of us, however.
Look, Luke, nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Well, now I think I'm getting jealous. Or I would be if it weren't for this damn headache.
Maybe you should
Go to
drink
sleep,
more.
man.
Maybe.
Supper is spent in silence with nothing but the occasional sound of silverware. A grand feast has been served. Well, grander than usual anyway. Most likely due to Luke's complaints of stress. A platter of native oysters for starters, and tranche of turbo with purple sprouting broccoli, lemon capers, and anchovy sauce for mains. To finish it all off, black tea and golden syrup sponge pudding with custard. But when our appetites are appeased and the plates are cleared away, Luke stands, kisses me goodnight, and leaves me to stare at my half-empty cup. Lonely in the low of night, I sit in a house too big and too empty, foreign and unwelcoming. Even with its warm tone and homely decor, it feels cold. There's no need for tears, however. I know I can get through with this like every other obstacle I have faced before. This is a minor setback in what I hope will be a long and happy life. To remind myself that this place is for Luke and our future children fills me with a renewed vigor that he is not really looking forward to. Besides, it looks like someone is having a cry already. The wailing is far away and muffled. Yet at the same time, it shakes me to my very core as I hear it, as if the suffering is just standing right beside me. Hearing it sends a chill down my spine and makes my skin prickle with goosebumps. Who is that? Alright. Oh god, that's creepy. It's the witch! During supper, Hana found Luke drinking absinthe and this caused an argument. While Hana was angered by her husband's drinking problem, Luke was suspicious of his wife's activities, having not seen her the whole afternoon despite finished Luxury Living's interview early. Then there was this crying woman. Dun dun dun, and we're gonna save. Curiosity sinks in as I follow the sorrowful sound into the kitchen. Oh no, not the cellar. And into the wine cellar
Hello?
hatch.
Is anybody down there?
I am curious and concerned, but there's no way I'm going down into a dark and humid underground. Good, let's go to bed. I'm not as enthusiastic as Luke, who considers himself quite the connoisseur. However, I also cannot bring myself to go to bed with this racket going on. If it is one of the household help, they will surely need some talking. After all, this wouldn't be the first time I've gone and found one of the maids sobbing their eyes out over one thing or another. As professional as our staff are, they are still human. More often than not, it's either Johannes or I who calm them down, who help them figure out how to go on about things. Unfortunately, I'm not in high spirits right now, so I'm not as wholly benevolent. So I will... Saving again. Let's open the hatch. I may not be going down, but there's no point in talking through closed doors. Or hatches in this case. The thing refuses to budge at first until there is a soft click, and it easily swings free. As I lift up the hatch and look down into the cellar, a sense of uneasiness washes over me. It isn't just the sudden onset of vertigo and nausea, but also the darkness. It's suffocating. This is like an Evil Dead part right here. Oh, with the freaking hatch and shit. And as I look down, it feels as if it's looking back at me. I worry that something will suddenly pull me into the deep. I can hear her whispering. Calling for me. She wants me. Needs me. She wants to drown me, pull me down, and suffocate me in her embrace until I sink to the bottom. A deep abyss waits, inviting yet foreboding. She's calling for me in there, isn't she? And I do want to help, I do. But the shadows threaten to creep out, and a feeling of apprehension keeps me in place. Already, it paints the room in a darker light. There's a lurching sensation, and the feeling that follows after is hard to explain. It feels like I'm watching myself from the sidelines, a spectator to my actions, or lack thereof. I will myself to snap out of this detached feeling, to move, to do anything except stare at myself. And for a moment, I see the look of fear in my own face. I'm back in my body, but the hook in my stomach is no longer the only one. There are hooks everywhere, tearing and pulling at my skin, flesh and bones. What? They pull at me in every direction, and it hurts. It hurts so much, but I just can't bring myself to scream out.
Help me.
Okay. Okay. E. I. Z. Do I do it? Do I do it? Do I do it? I wake from a deep slumber. Oh! Oh, God. Oh, I know when I play this again on my own to maybe get all the other achievements, I'm gonna see what happens every time you feel a QTE. It takes a while with the fog that has settled in my head and with my heavy limbs. But soon enough, I managed to look around. I'm in our bedroom already, although I do not recall going here. Luke slumbers beside me, looking peaceful and angelic. It doesn't matter. I'm safe, and I feel better than ever. Tomorrow, better days will come. You sure about that, Hana? Alright, so... nothing happened apparently on the 27th. Luke is already gone by the time I rise. There isn't a single hide nor hair of him to be found, and trying to call him on his mobile is a bust, as it only goes straight to his voicemail. That's twice in a row he's gone on me. And for him to disappear today of all days is every bit upsetting because of what's to come. The morning is once again filled with a whirlwind of activity. Fortunately, I am much more refreshed as I took a break from my responsibilities. I haven't the faintest clue where Luke was yesterday. Today is going to be a busy day, although unlike Wednesday, the master of the house isn't here right now, absent once again from his duties. Hopefully he'll be back in time for the party. This is our house after all. A grand housewarming party for the wonderful Wright Mansion. Well, it was your penthouse, but apparently he wasn't there half the time, so... Every person of importance from Luxborn is invited, and there'll be a few guests flying in as well. Damn! Of course, there will be some people from the media, along with friends and acquaintances who are made no less important, regardless of their status in society. Marianne and I discussed business and last-minute touches to the house before finalizing everything. Not that there is much change from our original plans. Bar any huge additions to the property itself, the mansion is nearly 100%
You have
complete.
certainly exceeded expectations, Marianne. Everything looks so marvelous, and in such a short time, too.
So wait, at this time... Okay, but did they not hear of Rose dying? Like, her death? Damn, they must be like... maybe they must... Like, that had to have reached her! It had to have reached Marianne. Or Marion. I keep wanting to say Marianne, because she says Marianne. It's Marion.
Well, I can't take all of the credit. People have certainly been enthusiastic about the idea of working on the Wright mansion. There won't be any more problems unless Mr. Wright has any more objections about the second bedroom.
Luke and I had a small tiff about making the second bedroom into a child's playroom, which I insisted is completely practical. In the end, he had to acquiesce. I didn't give him any choice in the matter. I even bought this wonderful wooden crib from the antique store yesterday, including some toys. Just in case anyone brings their baby, of course. Besides, we have little need for actual guest rooms. We hardly have guests who spend the night. If we absolutely have to, we have to choose to foot the bill for their visit in one of our hotels instead, always at Luke's own insistence. And on the off chance that we actually let someone stay, the bedroom in the opposite wing is still...
Oh, no. We proceed with that room as planned. I already agreed to him having his greenhouse and his vineyard and his stables. He may as well let me have this one thing.
No, I did not agree to him having
All right,
a
then.
helipad.
Well,
I didn't
do we
think
have
so.
any other concerns? Anything we need to put on our agenda before the party commences?
No, I don't think so. Not unless Luke has anything else to say.
Is he around then? It'd be best if we can note down his request right away, considering the scope of his usual ones.
Around? No. Where is he? Who knows where?
No, he's
don't.
not around.
She didn't have to point out the obvious now, did she? After 7 long years, I'd already gotten used to him. I should be by now. Still not,
But
apparently.
don't you have a party?
That don't matter. I want nothing more than to complain, to want to whinge about how unfair this is. However, airing out one's dirty laundry is simply taboo among high society. To do so will make you a right target for the next dinner party chit-chat. Vultures, a lot of them, really. Or most of them, at least. They're always good ones like Rochelle Lee. But put your trust in the wrong person, and you'll find yourself eagerly picked apart.
Yes. But Luke's just being a sweetie, you see. That friend he's visiting. He's having marital problems, and he's just trying to cheer him up.
Perhaps I'm being a bit too rash, a bit too hot-headed in divulging details. But I thought myself clever with the plan to dress it up as gossip. Marianne's raised brow made me unsure whether she was interested or not. Although that does make things better if she has no interest, and therefore has no hidden intent to utilize whatever I might
They've
say
been
to her.
married for a long time, and they've hit how do they say it? A rough patch. His wife has a drinking problem and can be very neglectful. The poor thing really does his best to be a good husband.
It sounds like
But
you.
it's never enough for her. Sometimes I think it's the years. Maybe it's been so long that they've lost that romantic spark. What do you think?
What do I think of the matter, ma'am?
No, what do you think of my hair? It feels so lifeless and dull today, and that's no good for a party. And I think I'm breaking out into zits.
Now that you mention it, there is something different.
There better not be something on my face.
I wouldn't worry about that. You do look a little paler than usual, ma'am. I apologize if I'm crossing any lines here, but have you been resting properly?
I was wondering, though, she got sick. I wonder if she's pregnant. Or the curse's influence is acting on her.
You'd think I get a bit tanned with how sunny it's been lately. Don't you worry. I feel right as rain and never better. But back to the matter at hand.
You were asking for my personal opinion on the matter, ma'am? Do you want me to be honest, or...
Be honest with me,
Be honest with
Marianne.
me.
I don't need someone to
What up again?
sugarcoat it. I'm not some fragile thing that I'm just going to break down at the slightest thing.
She hesitates, taking a sip of her coffee while I stare into my own cup of tea. The silence stretches on, and I almost believe that she will never answer my question. I suppose that I shouldn't blame her, putting her in a tight spot like this. Her hesitation is understandable, though I loathe to admit it. She simply wants this whole thing to stay professional. But then
If
she
I'm going
speaks.
to be completely honest, I need to ask. This is about you and Mr. Wright, isn't it?
Maybe. It's my turn to hesitate now. I really didn't expect such a straightforward question. And to get to the heart of the matter, I suppose I'm not as clever as I'd like to think. Or is it really that bad that an outsider can see our little marital troubles? Surely we aren't that obvious, are we? We've put up the act of a perfect couple for years, although it hadn't always been an act. Marianne is just more keen on than the average person, of course. It is a necessity to her career, and she's been working so closely with us.
Suppose
Yeah,
it
that's
is. What would you tell me?
Then, I tell you it's none of my business. I tell you that I don't want to meddle. But if the troubled husband with the neglectful wife asked me for my honest opinion, I'd say that he shouldn't base his happiness and his self-worth on someone else. Someone who won't even give him the time of the day. Maybe he should try being independent for a while. See what it's like when he isn't trying to please someone else and doing things for himself. Everyone's supposed to be their own man or woman, right? A bit of breathing room never hurt anyone. That's just my 2 pence worth, of course.
So you're saying they should divorce?
Nothing as drastic as that.
No,
If they're afraid that it might lead to just that, then maybe that is what's meant to happen in the first place. We shouldn't let our fear control our lives. But it's just a short hiatus is all. Or, couples therapy? Look, I'm really not the best person to ask about relationships. So grain of salt and all that.
She trails off, having said her piece, and leaves nothing but the smell of coffee and Earl Grey between us. There is a calm despite the nature of what has just been discussed. To say that her words make me start to think is an understatement. To say that I'm not considering her advice is a lie. And to say that this might just be the calm before the storm is a possibility. Others have had shorter marriages, yes, but plenty have celebrated long and happy ones as well. My own parents celebrated their choral anniversary before they passed away. But 7 years? 7 years isn't a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. It isn't a whole lot of time to see what and where a relationship can bring us. At the same time, 7 years. Well, it hasn't been entirely made up of unhappy years, has it? It won't last forever. It's not supposed to anyway. I just dread the thought that it might last for a very long time. I dread the thought that these small spats, these little disagreements, will turn into an all-out resentment. The idea that we will grow to hate each other with every fiber of our being scares me. I can't even pinpoint the exact moment when our blissful union turned sour. We can get through this, right? I know that I still do love him. I feel that there is a small part of him that loves me in return. We just need to get our heads together and talk it out. Surely he will say some sense. There's a cough before Marianne clears her throat. I must have been quiet for so long, and I move to apologize when she stands up. We both end up on our feet, unsure on how to proceed. Some sort of odd, awkward shuffle occurs as we decide whether to sit back down or
really
not.
should handle what's left of the work.
You won't be attending the party? Oh, you really must, Marianne.
I'll try to stay and chat. Maybe grab a few bites and a drink, but I can't be around for the entirety of the event. My apologies. Busy, busy, busy.
You must stay a while.
Yeah.
I'd love for you to meet some of my friends, and they're ever so excited to meet you. You need to say hello to the Lees, at least. If it wasn't for them, I'd never even heard of you.
We'll see. So, if I can be excused?
Certainly.
Hey, bye.
You'll have to excuse me as well.
She seems really cool,
I must
though.
attend to the party before any early birds arrive. Because, believe me, they will throw a fuss if things aren't ready, even when they're not supposed to be here until an hour later.
And say, well, go sit in your car for an hour because my shit's not ready. Alright. 28th. Hannah and Marian were seen discussing the mansion's finishing touches before the housewarming party. On a whim, Hannah asked for Marian's opinion about a certain couple having marital problems. It leaves the former with something to think about after the latter excused herself from attending the party. Save. Alright, branching tree. Where are we at? We are almost done with her. Yeah, we're almost done with her chapter. And we'll go to Zach next. The scene outside the parlor is a great organized mess. Aside from our own household help, we hired the service of the temp agency which provides staff for Wright Enterprise in the hospitality sector. Even our very skilled staff cannot undertake a party of this size on their own. Waiters, busboys, hostesses, and their staff captains move about in droves, carrying crockery and serverware good for several dozen people and then some. Chefs and bartenders tail after Johans, looking like scared little children as he escorts them to the kitchen, through the kitchen into the wine cellar, to peruse the stocks to select what can be served at the party and what can be used for cooking.
We have a lot to do, and I believe we did not hire snails. Snails are for the dishes.
A string quartet readies up to play for the evening, tuning their instruments as they fill the air with their idle chatter. Floral decor worth thousands fill vases, wreaths, and baskets, while petals are scattered along the driveway up front. Oh wow, a nice sculpture of a reindeer is brought in carefully by a pair. It is followed by a simple cake, just a 5-tier white chiffon one with white chocolate mousse, fresh berries, and a light dusting of edible gold leaf. That doesn't sound simple. But despite the fact that I told Mary Ann how I felt about all of it, how I will tend to all this, I found myself unable to focus or care for any of it. I still have our discussion running in my mind, and looking at all this, I only see Luke everywhere. These are all the grand things that Luke wanted to have for the party. I had wanted a small, elegant, and simple gathering, with only a few select invited, and only the people who I would actually trust to enter my home. I did not want any bloody politicians or paparazzi in here, no matter how used I am to cater
At least
them.
be here for your party. Damn it, Luke.
The entire thing screamed Luke Wright, and I can't help but add another question to my growing list of queries. When did I lose myself? It's always about him nowadays, isn't it? What about Hannah Wright? What about Hannah Evans? Who used to be my own woman, who made her own name, her own career, and her own decisions. Sure, I was already the social butterfly that I still am today, but it wasn't all empty, shallow gossip and sitting pretty. I was also lauded for my knowledge and talent. Finance manager wasn't just handed to me just because my father owned the company. I had insisted that I start at the bottom so I could work my way to the top and prove myself. And I did. I worked numbers, managed budgets, money and accounts, analyzing the competition and market trends. There was the calculation of financial risk, cost reduction opportunities, auditor liaison, and public relations, supervision of staff, and well, I generally had a huge slew of responsibilities. Admittedly, I was already quite the attention seeker even back then, having dedicated most of my youth craving for my parents' approval. Failing that, I turned to others, looked for praise from anyone who would give it, however fleeting it all was. And Luke, oh Luke, the way he looked at me, the way he watched me and took a genuine interest. He had me disgustingly upset since day one, hasn't he? He saw me for me, Hannah Evans, with both my faults and my achievements. The man didn't treat me like some damsel in distress, or some prize to be won. I remember the nights before we were married, where we talked about everything and anything. From big things like business, society, and philosophy, to little things such as what we had for breakfast or whether we liked cats or dogs more. We both prefer dogs. Nowadays, I'm just Luke Wright's wife. It's mostly my fault, isn't it? They told me that husbands preferred wives who are docile and subordinate. Who the fuck told you that? A woman who'll always be there for him, yet would never outshine him in all aspects except beauty. A wife needs to be at home and attend to his needs, to have children, and take care of them in his absence. Who the fuck told you this shit? They said I had no business working anymore after I was married. I can blame society. Well, society is stupid, so... But I listened. Before I could fall further into this introspective pit of self-loathing, someone calls for my
The
attention.
guests have arrived, madam.
And Luke?
Running a bit late, I'm afraid.
Late for his own party. That man, I swear. He's probably looking to make a dramatic entrance, knowing him. Open the doors, then. We mustn't tarry.
Cars line up the driveway, peppering the front of the mansion with vehicles of every kind. Grand Tours, supercars, even the high-end muscle car or two, convertibles, grand saloons, and other luxury cars can be seen, being parked by valets. A handful of cabs drive off, possibly for those who thought it would be too troublesome to bring their own cars. There are at least 2 different media vans as well. They're all here for what may be considered the biggest event of the year for Luxembourg so far. Who knows what we'll plan for the winter
Welcome,
holidays.
welcome everyone.
Zachary's gonna be
Please,
there,
make
actually.
yourselves at home.
Some of the guests idle, enjoying the warm if not strange sunshine we are experiencing, before gloomy skies inevitably return. They greet acquaintances and friends with warm smiles, others less so. From where I stand, I can see the hierarchy of power, the ties that bind these individuals here, whether through convenience or necessity. However, there are also a few who are not here to further cement their current place in high society. So there's that young man with his oriental hair, ignorant of the looks he received from women and men alike. Ash,
Be
what are you
careful
doing?
with Shirley, alright?
Or that rose-haired woman talking on her phone, while she looks unsure of why she's here exactly.
Yes, I'm at the party already, Mom.
Why are you here,
Yes,
Becca?
I'll say hi to her if I can.
I see Zachary, the photographer, as well. He talks to a few of the other media crew with an air of
I was just here a
familiarity.
few days ago, yeah. Yeah, and the inside is huge, but the staff are pretty helpful if you get lost.
And then there are people like the chief inspector. People who I can never be too sure about. People who stand on the border between being suspicious and
Thank you for the invite, Anna. Husband
What
still
about
missing,
Isabella?
I see.
I should be saying the same of your darling Rochelle, Lee. The doctors again.
She told me she'll just be in the gardens. Bet she's lying and that she's somewhere around mingling, gossiping with the other ladies. It's no offense, but that seems to be all you ladies do at these parties.
And aren't you gossiping right now?
Yes, well, what about Luke? Should we file a missing persons report now, or do you want to wait 24 hours?
He's
Ah.
around.
You know, I can tell if someone's bluffing. Don't tell me, let me guess. He's finally drunken himself to death and not wanting a scandal, you've hidden his body. I was wanting to
Not
give this
yet,
housewarming
not
gift to
yet.
him personally, too. It's a plate that holds a wine glass so he can stop killing himself with liquid lunches. Looks like it's too late for that.
Nothing like that. Besides, this is a hardly polite conversation.
Oh, relax, I'm just trying to be cheeky to lighten the mood. It's not like I want Luke dead. The man doesn't serve dodgy plonk like the others when I visit, and he pays his respects well enough. I could use a glass of wine or 3, actually. Rochelle's been in a horrid mood. Threw her stilettos at me the other day and almost took an eye out. Not sure
Wow,
if this is
damn.
how it usually goes, but I blame the pregnancy.
I wouldn't know, would I?
Still no plans for a baby?
He
Well, I
won't-
guess
he
that's for the
doesn't want
best. If it's this bad now, I can't even imagine how bad it'll be when that little baby bump becomes huge.
one. Have I mentioned how I don't trust him no matter how hard I try to do so? At least he brought a gift.
Why
I
don't you
suppose.
just go inside and have some wine, Lee?
Think I will, thanks.
Greetings such as these carry on as the guests continue to trickle in. Whether we have short conversations or merely shake hands and nod heads, I make sure to attend and welcome each of them. As the first hour passes by, the rest of the stragglers and I adjourn to the ballroom. Any latecomers will have the attention of the porter instead. I have other duties to attend to now. Hosting parties is always the same old song and dance, no matter how big or small it is. You make sure your guests are all well fed, have good company, and have them generally enjoy themselves. So when my opening remarks are done, and the band has started to play and the guests have started eating, I find myself wandering around aimlessly until I'm pulled aside. For a while, I stay with a small group and entertain them before excusing myself. And when they're not anymore watching me, I end up watching them. When they don't listen, I do. A local banker is having trouble with his daughter, who wishes to marry her off, but she wants nothing more but to make music. One of our hotel managers worry about the stolen belongings of one of his patrons. A feeling of insecurity which should be brought out to higher authorities soon. Our mayor, well, his cat died. Then there's that rose-haired woman once again. It is hard not to notice her with her distinctive locks. I almost said looks. She also lacks the grace that the other ladies have, but that does not make her any less beautiful. Her stance and the air that she exudes, instead, are strong, and they make her stand out despite her casual attire. Many men have already given her their attention, though each invitation to dance has been turned down. I approach intrigued, although it is no great mystery what occupies her own attention, with the glances she keeps sending towards the boy with the oriental hair. She remains unaware, though, even as I stand beside her, pretending that I'm there
You
for
would
a
catch
drink.
his eye a lot better if you wore nicer clothes, don't you think?
Didn't realize the housewarming was going to be this fancy. I would have gone with a nice dress if I knew.
Oh, you're fine, dearie. It's only really the parvenus, those who climb, that come to these parties all dolled up. Quite the black-haired beauty, isn't he?
She thinks so. The boy comes over, but I do nothing to speak any softer. He merely passes by, and it's a wonder he doesn't hear
Who,
what I
Ash?
say.
You know, you really shouldn't have turned down those offers. If I wasn't married, I'd happily go dancing with those young men.
Dance,
But
it doesn't freaking matter.
you said a name. Ash. That's the exquisite lad you've been looking at all this time. I don't know him, and I'm the one hosting this party. That must mean you know each other. Is he your boyfriend then? Because that would explain those
No.
rejections.
Not yet. In all my life, I've never seen a face grow red so fast. The shade of her hair did not help as well. This is the most pink I've seen on a person,
What?
really.
No, that's ridiculous. He isn't my boyfriend.
Such a violent reaction. A simple no would have sufficed. Many here would be happy to hear it.
And I haven't been looking at him.
Oh,
That's
you
right.
liar.
You've been staring. Quite heatedly, in fact. Although I'm not sure if you look like you want to kiss him or kill him.
It's more the latter currently.
Just don't go murdering him on my property. I don't want to walk into a room and suddenly find a body there.
I waver as I feel the burning of someone's stares. It is chilling, and though I'm used to enduring the gaze of others, this one makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. Oh god. Bitch, go away! My attention is pulled from the girl and I see a woman staring. Dark-haired and dirty, she looks like a beggar than a guest, and I have half the mind to call the security at her when her mouth breaks open into a grin. All I hear is her laughing. Taunting. Her stare makes my blood run cold. She looks at me like I'm nothing but a pig to slaughter for her amusement. It makes my hand shake and I nearly drop my drink. But then in a blink, she's gone. And the buzz of the party returns.
I'll keep that in mind, but are you all right?
Yes, sorry. I just thought I saw something strange. It must be the trick of the light.
You did.
Anyway, on a right, as you must already know.
Rebecca Gales.
Gales.
The name is familiar, like a fond memory. I recall a kind lady, a private tutor who treated me like her own daughter when I was young. She'd even bring me food when there was no need to do so. Usually stovies, which I honestly hadn't been too keen about, though I ate them nonetheless because she brought
Oh,
them
the
for me.
professor! And your little Becky!
My parents couldn't make it since they're in Scotland right now. And Mom says hi, by the way. But yeah,
That's cool.
me. Little Becky. We met once before.
Oh, that's
Yes,
cool.
oh,
they
I
know each
remember
other.
You were the cutest little thing with glasses! And when we met, you were having boy troubles with this lad called something with an A. What was it again? Aaron, Alan, Adele, Albert, Alexander, Andrew?
The more I list off names, the more red and more quiet Becky gets. She starts to look a bit miserable as her body language shows discomfort and stiffness. Perhaps I have triggered a horrid childhood memory. Surely it had been me when she visited with her mother? I don't quite remember all of it.
Ashton! Ash! That man is that boy! The same one. Oh, goodness me, after all these years! I can see why, though. He's quite
I
dashing.
like that. That's cool that they know each other.
You don't really need to announce it to everyone with an earshot, you know? Keep it down.
I'm so sorry, but it really is cute.
And a tad bit sad.
So, this is a nice party, Miss Wright.
Please, Hannah's fine. We're friends of a sort, aren't we? We must be friends, seeing as I know about your little infatuation, Becky. Don't you worry, dearie. You'll have your happy ending yet.
I hope everyone has a happy ending.
I'm
and
not
nobody
too
dies.
concerned about that, am I? That's
And
not
she's
what
not
I'm looking
concerned
for.
about Isabella? Like, what happened to Isabella? Is she okay?
Oh? And what makes you think that? Doesn't everybody want their
stop.
happy ending?
The idea of happy endings sounds like they're just for fairy tales. And they are, sorta. I don't think you can just sit around, trapped in some tower and hope for the best. If you love them,
I'll just stop using my
you have to
mouse.
fight for it, right? You're not just going to sit there and hope that everything will just fix itself on its own.
Yeah.
Like
she's
everything,
right.
you have to work at it. But what do I
right.
know?
There's a grimace, although she starts to relax around my presence. How long has it been since we met as children? Certainly a long time. She was tiny back then, if I recall
I'm sure the
correctly.
daughter of the two greatest professors I've ever known is smart enough to know what she's talking about. But have you told him how you feel? And it's been what? 20 years?
17, actually. But no, not yet. He can be a bit dense.
That's when you grab him by the shoulder and say, I like you!
I was hoping that maybe he'd notice on his own and...
No, because boys are dense! Not just Ash, all boys! Just tell him!
Won't do. What if you two become husband and wife? He's not to be dense when he's sworn himself to another person. Why, you might just as well consider leaving before the day's even begun.
If that happens, I'll have to give him a good ear bashing, won't I? Whoever anyone ends up with, it's not going to be a perfect relationship anyway. There's going to be things you'll love and things you'll hate about the other person. We're just humans. It's funny.
Yeah, she's right.
Here I am, trying to give you advice when you did the very same thing back then. I remember you giving me a makeover when we were still kids. And you were the first I told anyone about my... crush.
I do remember now that she mentions it. Did I give her that yellow summer dress or the pink blouse and petticoat? She must have kept some of what I had said in mind. It feels ridiculous remembering all that years later. Talking about boys and how they go crazy for pretty girls, as if it's some gospel every woman should adhere to. It was so easy to say such things then, with me not knowing any better. Though, looking at her now, she must have kept some of what I said in mind. Perhaps I did say something good at the time, enough for her to take it to heart. But all that didn't matter in the moments as I mull over what she said in my head. What Becky told me is very different from what Mary Ann told me. There was no time to ponder over that, however, as a hush descends upon the once lively crowd. The music of strings and the chatter slows to a grinding halt as the doors from the foyer opens. The last of the latecomers should have arrived moments ago, and anyone else this late would simply be too embarrassed to show their face. So this can only be one person, or rather, one man. There was only one man who was audacious enough to arrive at his own party.
Good evening, ladies and gents. Enjoying the party? I hope I'm not too late in welcoming you all to the right mansion.
Bro, you're like an hour late. Unlike I, who was raised in the spotlight and simply grew to used to its presence, he sought it out every chance he could, even when there was no spotlight that shone. And I'll never put it against him when he smiles like that. He did so quite brilliantly under scrutiny when he channels his showmanship. You can tell by the way people's eyes lit up as he speaks. How they listen enraptured, even if all he's doing is a simple greeting. A little wave with his hands here, a small smile there, and a bit of a swagger. I always tell him that, if he's not to be a businessman, he'll do well as an entertainer. I love the side of him, especially when he looks at me. He beckons me over to humbly share his place. Not a single second is wasted as I excuse myself from Vicky's side and I make
Welcome one and all to our humble abode. Tonight, if you have yet to find yourself in your roles, you are all ladies and lords of the court of your king and queen, if you would excuse my presumptuousness. So, enjoy the feast that has been laid out for your senses as we only allowed the best to be served. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone!
There's a round of applause, cheers, and even some hoots. Guests approaches left and right to shake Luke's hand and greet him personally, praises on their lips. It's because of this that I do not see her. I do not see her until she is dangerously close, with fury in her eyes and she's already spitting venom. Johannes restrains her, taking care not to unnecessarily harm the pregnant woman. Okay, so this is Rochelle, I'm guessing? But that does little to deter her rage, and the man has no choice but to let her go, lest an unborn child is hurt. Although it might not be too late for that, I can see an empty glass of wine in her hand. Honey, you should not be drinking. How much has she
Are you feeling ill, Rochelle? Perhaps you need to sit down and...
No! Shut it, you munter! I ain't talking to you! I'm talking to this scumbag over here! You bloody bastard standing there with your smarmy smile!
Okay. She interrupts me, jabbing her finger in my direction before she rounds on Luke. Even as whispers and murmurs break out among the guests, all I can focus on is the heat of the moment. Obviously intoxicated, judging by the smell of alcohol in her breath. I'm not ticked off about this little display of hers, at least not yet. But I'm absolutely pissed by the fact that she'd endanger her own baby by drinking. Yeah, I would be too. I'd be like, lady, you're not supposed to be drinking. Like, oh, so we got a choice coming up, I think. There is a considerable amount of restraint and grace that I must exercise while I wait for her tantrum to subside. I keep a patient, if tight, smile on my face. Luke's expression, on the other hand, is...
Watch your tongue! You're on thin ice, Rochelle. Where's your husband? Who even invited you?
I did.
And I told you with great emphasis not to. Now we have a drunk, hormonal, pregnant woman causing a stir. What is even going on?
I'm just about to ask the
I
exact
don't
same
know.
thing.
But Rochelle, do calm down before you hurt yourself. I can't understand a word you're saying.
Where is that husband of yours? Lee! Collect your wife right now!
Don't you fucking talk like I'm not here and you're not responsible, you ass!
Did something happen to
You told
Lee?
me that I should wait for you in the gardens.
Excuse me. What is this nonsense you're going on about?
Crazy talk. That's all it is. Just completely and utterly mad.
Luke? Is that not Lee's baby? Is
Has
that
anyone
yours?
seen the chief inspector?
I am pregnant with your little bastard. You promised me you'll take responsibility.
Good
God
job, Luke.
damn it, Luke. I finally got you to talk to me after months of silence, and you do this to me.
What do you mean you're pregnant with? Luke, is this true?
Lies and slander, woman!
DNA test!
Security! Johans, take her out of here before she makes an even bigger fool of herself!
No, you do not do this to me. I was so ready to leave my stupid oaf of a husband. I told you to leave that damn wife of yours.
So this is a love square going on.
Look at her. Does she look like she wants a baby?
Pentagram, or I don't even know. Pentagon.
Does
I
she
don't
look
know.
like she could take care of a baby?
She wants a baby. She's said this several times. It is now that Johans returns with security, along with the concerned-looking Officer Lee. They surround her and move to escort the hysterical woman. Judging by his pale face, he has heard the whole thing, and I feel nothing but pity for the man. Not that I believe Rochelle. Luke will never. He will never go as far to sleep with another woman,
I'm
right?
so sorry for her behavior. She's been under a lot of stress. And the alcohol. Talking nonsense, that's all it is. You're not allowed to drink because of the baby, Shelley. What are you thinking?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
Is there really nothing here but the ramblings of a drunk? Of course they're nothing but ramblings of a drunk. She's just jealous. Jealous of this wonderful marriage, this happily ever after that I have with my prince. From how you're talking, you do not have a happily ever after with your
Take
prince.
that trollop out of here immediately! And see to it that she isn't allowed here or anywhere we hold any authority in Luxborn.
To be banned from anything with the right name on it is basically social suicide. We practically own half of Luxborn. There isn't a single establishment or repute that isn't under patronage, one way or another. This is mercy. I could do much worse to her. At least this way, she can just move out of the city and never, ever return. I have stained my hand in the face of her grievous fault, her bold-faced lies, but she deserves so much more. I can take away her business, have her factory shut down. It is too easy to ruin her life until she is just nothing. It is all so tempting. I can only see red. The tension is thick in the air, and the silence that embraces the room is nearly deafening. There are worried and almost fearful glances from some of the guests, yet at the same time, I can still hear them whispering. But as long as they hold their tongues and do not interfere, none of those matter to me. Especially when my darling looks at me with a different shine in his eyes. It almost seems as if he's proud of what I've done. That spurs me on more than
Everyone,
anything.
please go back to enjoying the party. Don't let that mess of a woman ruin your night.
And she was one of the only
You
close
heard
friends
her.
she had.
Strike up the
And
band,
you-
maestro, and let us dance like
You fucked it
fireflies
up.
in the night.
It takes a bit for the crowd to stir again in the face of all that. But like most problems of the elite, it is brushed under the rug and forgotten in favor of merriment. He offers his hand to me with a small smirk and a
Well,
bow.
that was a mess, wasn't it? And you handled it magnificently.
It happens. We are very important people, are we not?
Milady, would you like to dance?
With pleasure, my prince.
No one is going to get in between me and my darling husband. Not Rochelle or any other rich, snooty scrubber. Not some common whore or ambitious maid. No one's going to get him near him in that manner, not while I'm around. And if I have anything to say about it, no one is going to get near him at all. October 29th on Saturday. Alright. Let's see. Save. We'll check the tree. So how do we get the other ones then, I wonder? How do we get those? Huh. Dude, I wish I could have seen what happened here! There's a whole lot of shit! I missed something good! Alright. Alright. The Wright Mansion officially opened its doors with a grand housewarming feast. Zachary Steele, Ashton Frey, and Rebecca Gales were seen attending. However, what was supposed to be a day of merriment turned sour when Rochelle Lee, the chief inspector's wife, accused Luke Wright of fathering her unborn baby. In the aftermath of Rochelle's accusation, enraged Hannah banned her former friend from setting foot in any of their properties. Despite what happened, the commotion was brushed off, and the party continued. Luke and Hannah were seen dancing sweetly together all night. The day after proved to be a difficult task. My darling prince is a man of many connections, a man of the people. He is always talking to one person or another, and I am always left alone, unable to stay at his side at all times. It is frustrating, but I had to be understanding. Besides, I don't see why he can't just stay at home. The least I can do is make sure I have his time while he's here, which in and of itself isn't as easy as it sounds. Not with that bloody valet of his tailing him around.
Johns! Where's my tie?
On you.
I can't find it anywhere.
Have you looked around your neck? It should be there if it's not on your clothes horse, sir.
It isn't often that I'm awake this early. At least early enough to find my darling preparing for the day with his valet attending him. It is old-fashioned way to go about the morning. He's able to dress himself after all. But he says that it really makes the day easier for him to have someone else do his tedious task, albeit with a grimace. Though if that manservant of his dislikes the duty so much, I'll gladly do it
I've got
instead.
it, my prince. Come here.
Well, someone's up and at them especially early this morning, huh? Here I thought
yeah,
you'd
you
be
were
knackered
freaking
by all the
yelling.
dancing we did last night at the party. And after that, well...
A saucy little wink and a smile is what he offers me as I draw close to fix his tie. Oh, so they did the do! And when the valet reaches out with his perfume, I quickly take it and shoo him aside. This close, his scent fills me with the smell of white flowers, cocoa, cardamom, and almonds. It is intoxicating. The sight of the two of us in the vanity mirror is picturesque and perfect. Can I help it if I feel a bit resentful that another person get to do this for Luke every morning when I could have done it myself? No,
You're
no, I
dismissed,
can't.
Shroken. I have this. Go
Then
on then.
you need to get your
We'll
ass
be
up earlier.
summoned if you're needed.
If you want to do it, get your ass up. There's a curious look, furrowed brows, before any sign that he cares is what
Very well. If you need me, I'll be somewhere that isn't here.
You could have let the man do his job.
And I say there's no need for him. I can take care of you just fine, my prince. Just where are you off to this morning anyway?
I hate the thought of him leaving me. It feels like an eternity without him here, in this lonely place that doesn't feel like a home quite yet. Although the mansion is really growing on me, slowly but surely. I want to be at his side, but he fails to see such an obvious
Business.
thing.
Where else?
Why can't you just work from
I have to go
home?
sleep with someone
You
else.
can afford to, can't you?
Business needs a firm hand and a personal touch, Buttercup. Besides, I can't stay cooped up forever in here. I'll go mad.
Well, you'll come back home as soon as possible, won't you? It's so awfully lonely here without you, my prince.
I could. I don't see why I should, though. This hasn't been a problem before. You know I'll come home when I come home.
Just get home as soon as you can. For me, won't you?
No promises. It's business after all.
No, he won't.
I can't just stand up in the middle of the meeting and tell them the wife wants me home.
Then forget those peasants.
He stops and stares, looking perturbed for a moment before shaking his head. Is he feeling ill? That's more reason for him to stay here with me, doesn't it? I'm just being a good wife, worrying about
Be
my husband
good,
and
dear.
all.
And stay safe. There's been all sorts of dodgy characters seen about the property. I'll be leaving Johans with you, just in case you need anything, and to be on the safe side, okay?
But I don't need a valet. I need you here with me.
I'll be closing a big deal with a pharmaceutical company soon, if things go according to plan. Maybe, after that, I can take a breather for a bit.
No maybes. You have to promise me.
I'm going to be late, Hana. The longer this takes, the later I'll get home.
Fine. Shall I see you out?
If that's what you want.
At the front door, his valet waits, ready to accompany him for the rest of the day, but he's told to stay and attend to me. I still don't like it. It looks like he doesn't either, but I ignore him in favor of the one who really matters. I hold Luke's hand in mine and give him a deep kiss. It makes my heart flutter as I see the way his eyes close during a moment of passion. This is probably the second time you had a moment of passion in the past 2 days. Just saying. Parting for air.
Have
I
a
can
good
only
day,
smile.
my prince.
Right. Off I go.
I still don't want him to leave. He should just stay.
If you could
forever.
let go of my hand, please, Hana.
Stay with me, Luke. It's just so hard to let go when I finally have him in my grasp. To watch him enter his car and leave pains me so. It leaves behind an aching, gaping hole like a hunger and a need. I'm not content until
If
he
it
returns.
fits you, breakfast is ready in the parlor, madam.
If anything, I'll be in a foul mood.
Leave
until he
and go
returns.
practice your bloody sodomy elsewhere.
Peculiar.
When I turn around to hiss at him to leave, he's already gone, and that suits me just fine. I want to be alone, without anyone bothering me. I want to be alone with myself and my thoughts, with only these halls as company. These damned halls will hold our memories, just he and I. And there's no one else I need but my prince. Not some cheeky servant who's just living it up because he's Luke's right-hand man. Rubbish like him deserve nothing. He deserves to be thrown and locked in the attic. Without realizing it, my feet have brought me in here. Oh boy. This empty, lifeless room disgusts me. The longer I stare at it, the harder it gets to breathe, as if the walls are moving in on me. Yet at the same time, it pulls me in. I hear whispering, and curiosity gets the better of me as I look under the bed. There on the far corner, a loose floorboard. The wood, despite having swelled and warped over the years, is strangely familiar, comforting in its feel. Though it's not merely what my hand searches for as I reach for it. It takes quite an effort, but soon I'm able to lift it. And inside, underneath the dust and cobwebs, lies a pendant, warm and familiar. And I swear, if I just close my eyes, I can feel it beating in my palm. I feel a thrill, though I also feel like a thief for taking this. But it's mine. So without delay, I hide in our room. In front of the vanity, I see the way my eyes shine as I remove the clasp of my old necklace and put on this new one. If it's a lot better than the old one. I can feel it as it weighs on my
Right
chest.
where it belongs.
Hana! Oh no! And we're just leaving it there! God! Oh, we're leaving it there! Hana was being extra clingy to her husband and grew easily irritated whenever someone would go near him, including their butler. While wandering the mansion, she found an old locket hidden under the attic's bed. Ecstatic over her rare find, she immediately wore it, replacing the Evans heirloom she'd always kept. Now we're on to Zachary. Jeez, shush phone. Alright, save there, I guess, next episode. So I want to know how we get Because I missed some good shit, apparently. I don't know. Oh, this was the failed QTE. So this is if you don't open the hatch. So apparently she comes out anyway. But how do I get this? This is where the good shit's happening. Damn it. Alright, we'll see. Zachary is long. Oh my god, Zachary's is longer than Isabella's. Holy shit. Oh my god, Zachary, you're gonna take a lot of this. Holy shit. Alright, anyways. Looks like Hana is now possessed by the creepy lady. I don't know really how this is tying in just yet. I'm pretty sure we'll eventually find out what happened to Isabella. Because apparently Zach, Becca, and Ashton don't know. Like, they don't know about her. They haven't been concerned about her. So, you know, whatever. There was no even, like, Ash and Becky, like, maybe overhearing them talking about if you've seen Isabella or them talking to Zach about her. Like, they haven't mentioned her, so I'm like, is she okay? Is Isabella okay? But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked it, leave a comment if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye! For special days. Why, everything here is absolutely wonderful. Well, except for this ugly painting in the study. Bitch, that's not a painting! It looks like a bad fake of an Edvard Munch painting.
Here's the deal.